This is the voice of disruption.
Welcome back. Voice of Disruption, Ken Rutkowski. I'm hanging out in the studio with somebody who I've known for about maybe 2.5 decades. Is Will, more than that, Will Henshall is joining us.
Yep.
Will's company today is called Focus at Will.
Right.
What is the pitch for Focus at Will?
This is a music tool that helps you be happier and more productive when you're working and studying.
Okay, we'll dive into that a little more. What's the pitch for Will Henshall?
The pitch for me?
Yeah, what is your pitch?
Well, it depends what I'm trying to get.
Okay, let's say you're trying to get someone's attention. No, we can't do that. Let's say you're trying to own someone's attention.
Right, well, I would say I'm Will Henshall, and I am what is known as a polymath. I'm a Renaissance man.
Oh, you absolutely are a Renaissance guy.
And I've written 5 #1 records.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, as a songwriter, and I've got 5 patents as a technical inventor.
Wow.
And
okay, how about, can I try it out?
yeah, sure.
You've been on the roller coaster of life, gone from millionaire to broke, millionaire to broke, millionaire to broke, back up on top again, and you are always reinventing yourself.
That is true, thank you.
Right? It's true.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So when you and I met back in the mid-90s in San Francisco,
Yep.
You wrote a software tool that was all around the music industry and sound.
Mm-hmm.
You owned that industry, and then, of course, you were a rock star and you traveled around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Pick one of the two lives, rock star or entrepreneur.
Well, I've discovered that I'm equally left brain and right brain.
Is that possible?
Yeah, and it's been an advantage and a disadvantage. Okay. This means that I'm right brain creative. I just look over here and kind of see things. Left brain logic, why, science. Mm-hmm. And I find if I'm doing too much of one, I get bored, and if I'm getting too much of the other, I get bored.
So how do you balance yourself?
It sort of happens naturally. So my life these days is I'm the CEO and founder of Focus at Will, right? The music service. FocusWill.com is the website. Music service that helps you, scientifically proven to help you work smarter and be happier. And
It's like taking Adderall, but through your ears.
Yes, that's right. And, well, just quickly to give you the 15-second pitch on that. If you try and, if you're working in a big office and there's a lot of noise around you, you will reach for the headphones, of course.
Always.
Block out the sound. Well, we found if you listen to music you like, you've actually substituted one problem for another. Sure, you've blocked out all this stuff around you, but now you're listening to the music. Of course, that's why it engages you. So Focus at Will is special music that helps you block out the sounds and scientifically is designed to not distract you.
Scientifically for different types of personalities.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right? So it's made differently for everyone. So let's go back to you.
Right.
So you get bored if you do one or the other.
Yeah.
How do you balance?
Well, I'm a visual artist, I'm a photographer, and I'm also still a songwriter. And I say
so that's your
still,
artist side.
Yes. And so what I do is every week I have a couple of days a week when I'm actually in the studio writing songs, and the rest of the time I'm working with high tech.
But you have to balance
I do
it.
both, yes.
So people on one side or the other, do they think you're not balanced because you're not staying focused on one side?
There's this weird thing happens, and I tend not to talk about this very much, which is why this is an interesting...
Talk to me about it.
So let's say you're getting on a plane, and you find out the pilot is also an award-winning jazz saxophone player.
How do you find that out?
But
how do you
you'd
get
be
on a plane?
nervous. You'd be nervous
Why?
about a guy who flies a plane who can also play the sax at that level, because you want someone who's a pilot. I want someone to fly my plane who is like 100% a pilot.
I want a pessimist flying the plane. I do, right? I want a pessimist. I don't want an optimist.
Also, if someone is a world-class saxophone player and they're also a pilot, well, why aren't you just a saxophone player? Right? So this thing has happened as I've gone in my life. And so generally speaking, if I've gone out to raise money, which I've done, I raised $5 million from Singularity University, and which is Google, and a few other people for my current company. I don't talk to them about the fact that, yes, I'm a successful songwriter, I've sold a lot of records, and I'm still doing that. Mm-hmm. I never mention that.
Because they're going to think you're not focused.
They're like, well, no, we want someone who's the CEO of a high-tech company who's going to look after our money, not someone who's out like doing the music stuff with all of these people.
Do you find yourself to be more judgmental because you are balanced on both sides, because you're able to see things a little differently than somebody else? Or are you more empathetic? How are you as an individual?
Well, I am both a creative and I'm also a logical scientist,
Okay.
which means that I can speak fluently to creative people because I am a creative and I've proven myself as a creative. And I also can read code, and I'm also super logical and process-oriented. So I can talk to developers about developer stuff.
You're able to speak both languages, but the
Fluently.
idea of being judgmental.
No,
You're not
I'm not
at all.
judgmental.
Will Henshall's joining us. Focus on Will is the name of this company. He's based in Los Angeles, California. Like I said, I've known him for about 25 years, I think. We met in San Francisco.
We met through, she blinded me with science.
Thomas Dolby. Yeah, that's true.
Do you know Thomas and I have the same birthday?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, mine is October 7 and his is October 14.
It's not the same then.
No,
Just to
but
let
we're
you
the same
know.
age. And
You
we
look
always had,
much better than Tom. Sorry, Thomas. I want to get back to this idea of you have gone from number one down to literally the basement.
Oh, yeah.
At your phase in life right now, how do you look at yourself? Meaning, do you put the highest metrics and bars to yourself so you could achieve the best again, or do you just kind of go with the flow?
No, I have impossible standards.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you learn to set these because
No.
of your past, or have you always been like
I've
this?
always been like that. So,
It's got to be tough being you.
yeah, it's brutal because if I'm doing anything, I have to do it at a world-class level. You know, so if I'm writing a song, I have to be writing it at a level which is like as good as it gets with the best people in the world. Otherwise, I'm just not interested in doing something. And if I'm working in high tech, same thing. It has to really matter. It has to be something that it has to be elegant. It has to be beautiful.
I've talked in the past about you need two things in business. You need code and community.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you got the code going, but you also have your own personal code, your own code of ethics.
Yeah.
Community is really important. Who you hang out with, who you share time with.
Yep.
How are you selecting the gang you're with so it helps you rise to a certain level?
You need to be with accountable people. You know, I found that you need to be amongst. You know, the old was it Groucho Marx said that you would only ever want to be a member of a club that wouldn't even have him
Groucho
as
said
a
that.
member,
Yeah,
and that is so true. And so, if you're collaborating with anyone on any level, you need to make sure you're not really qualified to be in the room with them.
So do you finally get to a point to where you go, I shouldn't be with this group? Or do you go back to your past friends saying, I'm going to have to fire you guys. You just are not at the caliber I want to be at.
You just end up collaborating with new people and not spending time on the old people, I find.
Oh, that's what you do.
Unless they also rise up. And sometimes you can be in a group and you all rise up together.
That's the perfect group to be
That's
in, right?
wonderful, yeah.
Everyone helps out. Last, you are literally traveling around the world. You're doing both on music and on code. How do you stay relevant? I know we're a little
Right.
older than the millennials that are out there, but staying relevant in today's world, it seems like you have so many more challenges. I mean, from social media to communication to technology. How do you do it?
Well, humans are humans. We are all the same. And we need love and food and water and happiness and time off.
Those are your needs. I get it.
Right. So we all have fundamental needs. And I spend a lot of time looking at the charts. You know, the top 50 worldwide, that's a really good indication of what's happening musically. And I talk to people all the time, everywhere,
I get it.
anywhere.
But that's you getting information. You know how you have to implement it. Are you on social media? Do you work it to the same level you do with your businesses where you're always trying to do more than anyone else does? Or do you outsource that? When it comes to music, are you using certain tools out there to become a great artist, or are you outsourcing it? What do you do to stay relevant? Don't talk to people, you have to do it.
The secret for me about staying relevant is to collaborate with people who are relevant.
To collaborate. Okay, so you're with them.
Yeah.
But again, how do you do it? Because you have to do it every day.
Yeah.
You are challenging yourself to be better than you were yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be difficult. I feel like I'm your therapist right now. Will Henshall's joining us.
How much is your hourly rate?
I'm free. I'm a good deal. So as you're here, Will, you live in Los Angeles now. You've bumped around the planet.
I have.
You've lived all over the place. Why LA? What's going on here?
London, New York, San
Francisco.
Francisco, LA. I've always liked LA. I came here for the first time in 1983. And I just felt there's a possibility in this city.
It's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot, but there's always a can-do culture here. And it's sort of a focus and a melting pot for people like you and me.
Yeah, we gravitate
We
towards
gravitate
this.
this.
I think there's a shelf life of LA. I think there's something else later on. Maybe it's Singapore. I don't know. Focus of Will is one of those tools that you've been putting a lot of time in. I think you've been doing it for about 4 years.
Yep, it's been released. It was released actually 5 years ago.
5 years ago. And the antithesis of creating this was why? Why would you want to create a platform to help us listen to music and become more focused, or be in the it's not called the Zen state. It's called
flow state.
The flow state. Why would you want to create that?
Well, I'm really interested in helping people do stuff better. Really, if you say, what's your life mission? My life mission is to help people actualize themselves. How do you maximize who you are?
Okay.
And I discovered that by using certain types of music, and it's kind of complex because, as you said earlier, different brain types have different types of music. It's possible to help people get into a flow state better. And that manifests in them being able to, earn more money, be smarter, be happier, get better grades at work. For instance, if kids...
Get better grades. This is an important one.
Get better grades. A lot of kids, when they're listening to their homework, listen to music that they like. And teenagers, you got teenagers, they're like, I don't care, I'm listening to my stuff. Well, if they listen to their music, what they're doing is they're distracting themselves because they're listening to the music and not studying. So, for instance, in Focus at Will, we've got a study which we're starting next year, a large study, to try and show that by listening to streamline music or Focus at Will while they're studying, particularly in math, you can increase a grade. That's what we're proposing. We think, this is what the early pilots have shown us something like this, but we think by the kids not listening to their music and substituting it for Focus at Will, same time studying, you don't change anything, you can increase. And it's particularly relevant for kids who are like borderline pass. Like if you're getting a C grade, how do you get to a B grade?
Okay, and studying for the SAT or the ACT and anything like that. It's Focus at Will's the website.
It is.
And for your music, where do we go?
Just look online.
Okay, Will Henshall, that's where you go. Well, I appreciate hanging out with us. Now we know how to stay relevant and how to stay focused. We have a lot more coming up. Make sure you hang out with us right here on Voice of Disruption. I'm Ken Rutkowski, and we'll be right back.